rain increasing over the weekend. We're on your side with when you can expect it and how much rain we could possibly see.
And we talk about the science behind gradient winds and why they were so potent during and ahead of the storms earlier this week.
Plus, we're headed back into the classroom today as we meet our newest junior weather watchers.
Live on your side, First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
And glad to have you here with us for Weather Extra, and Lauren and Tania joining us again out there today. Finally, the wind settling down.
Took long enough.
Yeah, it took long enough.
It did take a long It did take a long time.
And I know y'all had a long night here on Tuesday tracking those winds.
Oh yeah, that was the main issue. I mean, power outages. I think most, or at least all of Central Alabama has gotten their power restored. So that's one good plus.
Yeah, that's one good plus. But
Yeah.
I said it earlier, it's like nature's hair dryer. You know, with that wind blowing yesterday and last night, so it won't take long for things to dry out again. So
That's true.
That fire danger is going to pop up in a hurry. But the good news is we do have some rain coming back this weekend. The next big thing that we're going to be talking about here, some weekend rainfall. The big question, will your weekend be a washout? We're going to time it out for you. Don't think that's going to be the case necessarily. I do think that we will have a good chance for the second half of the weekend. Right now, we are, of course, all dry. It's going to be another chilly night out there. We do have some high clouds moving in, but no precipitation showing up across the state of Alabama. Out the door tomorrow morning, you can see down into the freezing range, possible for places like Hoax Bluff and Center. You get over towards Leesburg, Gadsden, Rainbow City, Pell City. There's a chance maybe over towards Springville. We might touch freezing there early in the day. I certainly see the potential for some frost development during the early morning, even into parts of West Alabama, some of the outlying areas. So plan for that. After the cold start, though, tomorrow, we will see those temperatures make a nice rebound into the 60s later in the day, and the dry weather does hold on throughout the day. So if you have Big Friday plans, looks like a great day to wrap up out on the job site. No rain expected. The wind speeds tomorrow, still a breeze, not super gusty, but you can see that wind's going to be out of the south-southwest at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. So we're going from last night, it was a north wind, back to a south wind tomorrow, and that's going to start to bring that moisture back in across the state of Alabama. And what that could do, it could lead to a couple of showers late tomorrow night across the area. So we are factoring in a chance for a couple of showers, I think, late tomorrow night. But notice Saturday, here's 11 o'clock in the morning, maybe a couple of showers during the day, but we're seeing the better chance of rain with this low pressure system right here that is going to spread in over the state Saturday night and into the early morning hours on Sunday. Notice this particular system's taking a track further south. The last system was north of us, this one further south, so we're going to stay on the cooler side of this, the colder sector, and that's why we really don't expect a major risk for severe weather at this time. We'll keep an eye on it, mostly rain. Now, we still could have a few rumbles of thunder as this moves through Sunday night, but this passes on by, and then behind this, we're going to see some more rain wrap in, trailing disturbance that will keep those showers going Sunday and into early Monday of next week. So that's what we're tracking. We'll go into more specifics on the weekend and the full 10-day forecast coming up.
Thanks, Wes. Well, take a look at this. From this week's storms, Alabama Power releasing today that they have restored power to all customers. Hallelujah. More than 200,000 customers were impacted, unfortunately, from those storms, especially due to those higher and those stronger winds. Alabama Power continues to encourage customers to remain weather aware and never go near those down power lines. And these storms also causing nearly 200 weather reports and leaving thousands without power across the South. In Mississippi, there were at least half a dozen injuries and 3 fatalities. According to the Mississippi EMA, the Carolinas and other parts of the East Coast were also impacted by damaging winds and a few tornadoes Wednesday. Delaney Dukes in Wayne County, Mississippi, as a tornado survivor, began the cleanup process on Wednesday and looking through the damage that was left behind.
An EF2 tornado uprooting people's lives.
It's gone. There's so many things that are gone.
Scattering their world.
She said no. She said the house is gone.
But in the midst of all of this, gratitude.
That man Jesus was in there with them. Yes.
As you come down GMP Farm Road, there is lots of debris that is lining the streets, but this is just a fraction of what's to come as you continue up the road. Now, neighbors say that there are 3 homes on this property that were completely destroyed by the storm, but despite all the damage, everyone survived.
I don't know how they survived it. I really don't. They were through from one side to that, from way over yonder to over here.
Now, survivors are walking through what used to be.
This was a outdoor kitchen and bathroom and storage area right here that it picked up, and obviously there's the countertop for it, and the top of it's over there in the carport area.
And recalling how quickly their world turned upside down.
It makes it more real how easily, you can lose stuff, and how easily and how quickly the weather can change with no warning.
Searching for ways to put it back together.
I was just looking for like some personal items that they need, like phone, glasses. He asked me to find his wallet and him some shoes to wear, because he didn't have nothing when he went to the hospital yesterday.
Praying for what comes next.
There's so much of my life right here, and we're just gonna pick up the pieces and start all over.
Man, and back here at home, though we didn't have any tornado reports across our specific area, the strong winds did bring damage, and there was lots of damage that was left. So now we're going to turn our attention to meteorologist Lauren Linehan. She's going to bring us the weather lowdown on why this happens and the science behind those gradient winds. Lauren?
Yeah, well, Tania, first we have to think about what exactly causes wind, and it all has to do with differences in pressure. We talk about high and low pressure a lot, and all the atmosphere is trying to do at most times is trying to balance itself out. So if you think about an area of high pressure versus an area of low pressure, if the atmosphere is wanting to equalize itself, air is going to move from high to low pressure. So this is an example of where we have a weak high pressure across the western U.S. and weak low pressure across the eastern U.S. When you have that, the wind isn't changing very quickly because the pressure isn't changing very quickly. So you've got just a small change in pressure, you have weak winds. However, when you have a strong high pressure and a strong low pressure, you have a much larger change in pressure over a distance. And so that causes strong winds. So what exactly, when we talk about gradient winds, we're referring to the pressure gradient specifically. And the pressure gradient is just look at gradient. That means change. So the direction and rate that pressure changes over a certain distance. So as we look at a surface pressure map, you see these lines here. These are called isobars. And isobars just mean lines of equal pressure. So along an isobaric line, you could see possibly 1,015 millibars, 1,000 millibars, 980 millibars. When we get into hurricane season, you see a really powerful hurricane. Sometimes that can be 920 millibars. So that's just what these lines are measuring. So you can see areas of low pressure here on the map, but then also areas of high pressure. And this is what we're under currently. An area of high pressure is beginning to take control, so winds are beginning to lighten up. But because there is such a drastic change between the high and the low pressures that are nearby, that is causing winds to be stronger. You can see that the gradient winds are showing that the more closely spaced these isobars are, the more that pressure is changing really quickly. That causes the winds to be stronger. And that's exactly what happened the other day. Sometimes the worst winds can be outside of a severe thunderstorms. Those gradient winds, if you have a big enough change in pressure, they can certainly pack a punch. And we'll check this out. Strong winds also taking a surveillance blimp on an unexpected trip across southern Texas. It happened on Monday, and you can see the blimp in the sky until it eventually fades behind the thick fog. It was found the next day near the Dallas area, nearly 600 miles from where it was docked. Remind me to never ride in a blimp. In 30 seconds, we update you on this week's latest drought monitor, plus take you across the country to where dry weather is continuing to spark wildfires. We'll be right back.
Welcome back in, everyone. It is time for Weather Extra, and it's time to take a look at that out-the-door forecast for tomorrow. Will we see another dry day? Well, mostly dry, I would say. I think much of your Friday is going to shape up to be dry. There could be a few showers late Friday night, but otherwise you really don't need the umbrella or the rain jacket. It should be a pretty beautiful day. There will be some more cloud coverage around for your Friday. Starting off pretty chilly. We're talking about upper 30s around 7 o'clock, though low 40s. 11 o'clock, temperatures in the upper 50s with highs tomorrow. I would say mid to upper 60s. Not a bad afternoon. Slightly warmer tomorrow afternoon than today. But keep in mind this weekend, we're talking about rain, but we're also talking about daylight saving time. It begins. We actually lose an hour. Our hours spring forward. Don't forget to fix those clocks heading into early Sunday. Sunrise 7:05 a.m. Sunset at 6:50 p.m. We will talk more though about that weekend rain chance coming up more here and weather on Weather Extra. Lauren.
Yeah, Tania. Well, let's check out the current wildfire map. You can see that on your screen there, and this was just sent in from the Alabama Forestry Commission. It's a different scene compared to what we saw last week and even into this week as wildfires sparked across the state due to those dry conditions. You can see the controlled wildfires in blue and the contained ones in yellow. Well, a similar situation happening across South Carolina where they're seeing less wildfires this week. As of early today, only 22 wildfires were reported, which is down from the more than 100 earlier this week. A blaze that began Saturday in Horry County is at 44% contained, but as they continue to fight that, high winds and heavy rain were possible setbacks on those containment efforts. One resident saying these flames are causing a scary situation.
We've had a very interesting few days. It was kind of scary for parts of it. And again, last night with the wind coming, it got to be, we're concerned because right across the street and down the road is where we had the majority of the fires themselves.
The fire in Horry County is the largest in the state. And check this out. High winds also sparking dust storms back out west. It caused near zero visibility in parts of New Mexico and Texas this week. The National Weather Service issuing these dust storm warnings on Monday. This strong system was also responsible for the blizzard conditions, severe weather, and extreme fire weather conditions we saw this week.
Well, don't go anywhere. We continue to talk about those rain chances for your weekend, and we're going to take you beyond the atmosphere as we prepare for next week's total lunar eclipse. We'll be right back with more First Alert Weather Extra.
And welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Let's check out some of those current conditions in Birmingham. 53 degrees at this time. I was noticing some clouds moving in over around Tuscaloosa, and we're seeing the temperature there 54 degrees. A view there along the banks of the Warrior River in downtown. That's right there off the campus at the River Market there in Tuscaloosa. And in Gaston, we're at 49. Northwest wind at 6 miles per hour. Dew point 25. It is very dry again. We've had windy conditions, so it won't take long to dry out. That fire danger will pop up in a hurry again over the next couple days, but we will have some rain coming back. Notice we have some clouds building in. These high clouds will be around tomorrow at times, but it's still going to be a nice day. We're going to have highs in the 60s, so if you want to get out there and listen, one thing you may have noticed with all that rain we had recently, you remember right here on Weather Extra, we were telling you about those dust storms out across Texas and the Southwest earlier this week. Well, a lot of times when you have dust storms like that, and you hear us talk about the Saharan dust that gets pulled up into the atmosphere, and it's sort of like an atmospheric car wash when we have rain that happens. And some of that you may have noticed on the car, maybe a little film of it's not pollen, but it may actually be some of that dust that was carried over from those upper level winds. But bottom line here, not a bad idea to wash the car if it does look a little filmy there with some of the after some of the rainfall. Tomorrow and Saturday, perfect days. Rain comes back though Saturday night and into Sunday. And here's what we're tracking. Notice as we go into Friday night, Saturday morning, overnight, late tomorrow night, maybe a couple of showers, and then during the day Saturday, we'll have some nice weather for most of the day, some clouds, but we'll stay dry until Saturday night. And here it comes, good chance of rain, maybe a few rumbles of thunder. That low pressure system moves right on through, and then behind this we have a trailing disturbance that moves back in during the day Sunday. We'll probably catch some breaks during the morning, but we'll see that rain really start to pick up again by Sunday afternoon. But it looks like just cold, rainy Sunday night, temperatures falling into the 40s. It's going to be very dreary out there by Monday morning, some showers around, and then for the rest of the day Monday, we'll still have some leftover cloud cover. I do think Tuesday and Wednesday and next week we'll finally have some of that sunshine coming back. So we are going to have a system once it gets in here this weekend. It's going to take a little while before we can get it out of here on Monday. That's why we have that chance of rain. Tuesday and Wednesday, it looks like highs in the 70s. Thursday of next week, we do have a first alert for the chance of some showers and storms. That's mostly in the morning. That's going to happen Wednesday night and into the early morning on Thursday. We're sort of in between systems. We're watching around the 15th for the possibility of some rain and storms as well. Not seeing strong signals of anything severe. We'll keep an eye on that towards the 15th, something to watch, but just check in. Of course, check in with us, and if we see any severe risk, we'll be the first to let you know. And how about some weather in the classroom today? Speaking of weather, we talked about weather safety, and weather was the word right there at Susan Moore Elementary School today for weather in the classroom. And I want to thank all the kindergartens and all the teachers there. That is Bulldog Country, Tania, and talk about a lovely view across beautiful Blount County. I tell you what, I was on 75 today, and it's just gorgeous, that drive there through Aniana and into Susan Moore. And the teachers invited us. We, of course, had to reschedule because we had the storms on Tuesday, but they were ready to go today with sunshine and good times at Susan Moore Elementary. But thank you so much for the invite. And teachers, if you want to sign up to have a meteorologist from the First Alert Weather Team visit your school, you can go to Weather in the Classroom. Just go to WBRC.com.
Thanks, Wes. They look so cute and so excited. So much energy there. But let's talk about our forecast beyond the 7-day. Can we see any more energy that makes it warmer outside? Because that's what many of you have been asking, right? Here's our temperature outlook. Good news is March 14th to the 20th down across the southeast, we're tracking above average temperatures, but we could be seeing some more active weather in our forecast, rain, possible storms as we bring in March 14th through the 20th. So just giving you all that first alert. Instead of talking about our rain and storm chances, though, looking beyond the 7-day, let's talk about will we see any more freezes. And I have some good news for you. I'm not tracking any more hard freezes across central Alabama, but that doesn't mean we don't have cold mornings still in effect. Here's March 10th, still seeing some low 40s, even some upper 30s possible across the area. March the 11th, still some 40s and upper 30s, and possibly March 12th, overnight temps in the 40s. But as we keep moving forward, I'm starting to see a trend of some warmer warmer air, especially for those afternoons. And March 15th showing afternoon temperatures in the 70s. I think we will be warming up here across the area and feeling more like spring very, very soon. But as we take you beyond the atmosphere here at home and across North America, we're gearing up to see the total lunar eclipse. Excited about this one, but you're going to have to stay up late. In this week's Degrees of Science, C.D. Finley talks with a lunar scientist from NASA about what you can expect next Thursday evening.
First and foremost, what exactly is it that causes a lunar eclipse?
Quite simply, a lunar eclipse is caused by the alignment of both the Earth and the moon and the sun. And so it takes all three of those things to come together. I'm going to use a little visual display. I've got a moon here and an Earth here. And if you're the sun, basically what has to happen is that the moon passes behind the Earth. So the Earth is between the moon and the sun. And what happens during an eclipse is that the moon dims. It goes into the shadow of the Earth, and so it dims. And during totality, the moon turns this beautiful bright red color. And what that's caused by is basically the projection of every sunrise and sunset on the Earth going onto the surface of the moon. So during totality of the eclipse, you'll be treated to this beautiful red moon.
When it comes to these lunar eclipses, how often is it that they occur?
Well, they occur in clusters. So for instance, we haven't had a total lunar eclipse happen since 2022. And typically when they do occur, they happen in either twos or threes. And so this is, they occur, every few years. Now you have to be on the right hemisphere of the Earth. Imagine if I bring my example baseball back, moon passes behind the Earth. The people on the sun-facing side where it's midday aren't going to be able to see it. So we have an eclipse coming up, as you said, in March. The next one after that is going to happen in space at all is in September. But again, the other hemisphere of the Earth, we'll get to see that.
So can you explain what people will see during the different phases of this eclipse?
This unfolds very slowly. The moon slowly moves into the Earth shadow, and so it will go from being a beautiful, bright, full moon and slowly dim as it passes into the Earth shadow. And you'll start seeing sort of portions of the moon dim as it gets more and more into the Earth shadow. When it's completely enveloped in the Earth shadow, it goes in totality, and that lasts for about an hour or so before it starts coming out the other side. And so if it's cloudy at the beginning, it may clear up later on. You don't have to be in the right place at exactly the right time because it does unfold so slowly.
Checking out some of your weather photos, a gorgeous shot of the sunset in West Coleman, sent in from Loxley and Patty Patterson.
And this one, Bob J. Sunset over Addison. Beautiful sky.
Yeah, you see that nice glow. Kendra Kenworthy shared this one from UAB St. Vincent's, and looking back off to the west direction there, just a fiery sky. And that was last night.
Gorgeous.
And then another view of that little Sailor's Delight sunset up in Coleman from Adam Stuckey.
And this last photo, Sandy sent in this one, but this is not here, guys. This is in New York City.
All right, the Big Apple in the house. So nice to see some of those photos from up and down the East Coast as well. But listen, tonight we're going to have those temperatures back in the 30s. We're watching the weekend because it still looks like Saturday night and into Sunday. But it seems like every weekend Lauren and I hang out here tracking storms, but not this
Thankfully,
weekend.
this weekend that doesn't look like the case.
Yeah, it'll just be some plain old rain, y'all.
All right.
We'll have updates for you tonight, first at 9 and 10.
See you tonight.